Okay.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the HerStoryTV. This is your host, Gertrude Mache, here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia, bringing you a show called The Power of Education. One of my heroes, Nelson Mandela, said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. When we started this show 3 or 4 days ago, our focus was around an incident that happened in Zimbabwe. A 14-year-old little girl died during childbirth, and we decided to create this event to shine an awareness of the power of education, especially in developing countries, to help women get out of poverty so they can look after their children, and in particular to stop child marriage. So we have teamed up with Dr. Tirirai Trent in New York. She is a Zimbabwean academic who has been advocating and fighting for change for children in rural parts of Zimbabwe. She has started a project raising funds to send a group of kids to university in the United States. And I will be sharing the link to her website and asking you to go online and contribute towards that cause, because this is going to be the only way that we will bring about change in our country, in Zimbabwe. I'm calling on you as my friends, as my colleagues, as people who know what education stands for, to share this video in your social impact, your social media platforms, share it at work, shine a light, because we're trying to put pressure on the Zimbabwean government to stop child marriage. Any child under 18 should not be married. But what is happening in Zimbabwe is people are desperate, the poverty levels are high, it's being compounded by COVID, and people are literally selling their kids so that they can get something to eat. So I'm going to bring my sister Ruth online. She is my right-hand woman based in Zimbabwe. Ruth, welcome back. It's great to see you again today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gertrude.
So much. Yeah, go for it, Ruth.
It's really good to be here and to be part of this movement, part of this change that we are driving as women and men. I think we have some men, and I was thinking we will need to bring some men on board soon, and they must chip in, and they must put in their weight as well, weigh in into this issue. But I'm so glad about today's subject, where we're talking about education and the importance of education as a weapon against poverty and against oppression, and just as an empowering tool for people to change their lives and to change their statuses. So thank you for having me again today, Gertrude.
It's an absolute pleasure. We're being joined by another guest, I think coming in from the UK. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself. I noticed you joined us yesterday and we've added you to the show so you can be part of this conversation. Where are you based? Where are you from? What inspired you to connect with us today?
My name is Caroline, but my Facebook name is Ambia Russian. So I'm based in UK.
Excellent.
Pleased to join you as a guest. You are doing a very good job. You are doing a fantastic job. Keep on going. You are doing
Thank
well.
you. Thank you. It's
Thank
people like
you.
you who are tuning in every day, listening to these conversations, adding your ideas and your thoughts. So, you obviously know the story that we have been focused on. Memory was a young Zimbabwean girl, age 14, who died during childbirth. What, how are you feeling about this? What is your take on this particular subject?
It's heartbreaking, to be honest. It's
Mm.
heartbreaking. Let me just take you back, like to my childhood. Myself, I at the age of 14, my cousin, who was 13 years, got married.
My
And
goodness.
I was traumatized. At the age of 14, I was called Amai Guru.
Mm.
It was so disturbing because that time I was expecting myself to be playing Raka Raka with other kids. But
Yes.
the title My Guru will, will affect you so much. So this thing has been happening ever since for a very, very long time.
Mm.
But now we need to say enough is enough because of the social media now. It's the right time. We are at an advantage because of the social media. It's like we are living in a village. We can
Yeah.
connect because of the social media. We are able to hear about this story.
Yeah.
If there was no social media, Herald was going to report a woman died while she
Yes.
was giving birth.
Mm.
But now we get first-hand information, like from the villagers, from people around. So this is the time to do our part, to advocate, to raise our voice as women. We need to make a lot of noise about this issue. We need to, sing. I sang. I recorded a song about this. I'll send it. It's not perfect, but the message in a song. And
Yes.
I do like some skits to raise awareness as well.
Okay. Please share that with us. We need
Yeah,
that kind of content.
yeah. I will share. It's not perfect, but there's a message in that song. So that's all what we want now. We need to like a lot of things are coming on my hand.
I
Like
know. Mhm.
when I was based in Zimbabwe, I was connected to the curriculum developers. So I told them I'm not happy about these books we are using in the school because I was a teacher by then. So
Yes.
these books were like saying Miss Tiningi is a farmer. Mrs. Siningi is the farmer's wife. So I told them, hey, we need to change this. We need to see girls in those powerful position.
Hmm.
Mrs. Siningi is a doctor. No, that kind of thing. Mrs. Siningi is a farmer. So
Mm.
I was trying to write some books for young children. But
Yes.
unfortunately, I lost my husband that time, who was working directly in the. So I stopped everything, like, Then I relocated to UK. But this thing is very important to me. This girl child, we are in the right we are in the right direction. So we need people were like with loud voices to join
Mm.
us. We need to mobilize everybody. We need to start talking about this too. We start with our families. We start
Yes.
with our neighbors. Then we carry on like that. But we are doing the right thing. You are doing a very good job. I just want to cheerleader. You say carry on. Well
Thank
done.
you, my sister.
Mm.
Thank you. I think it's when we all start singing that song together You know, one voice can only go so far.
Yeah.
But when we start singing the song together, then we really amplify the message.
Yeah.
Welcome, Deborah. Welcome, Kathleen. Kathleen, you have published a book called The Power of the Girl Child. Your book was released very, very recently, last month. Tell us a little bit about what you have covered in that book and what your passion is around supporting the girl child.
Thank you, Gertrude. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I did write a book as a passion for the girl child. That's why I called it the superpower of a girl child. I would start with the superpower of a girl child to say, where does the girl child have that superpower if the girl child is not empowered? Because if I had stayed in that situation, in those circumstances, I would have come out on the other end as a superpower of a girl child. So in my book, I write about my story, my narrative. It's a true story of myself on how I actually enjoyed the journey of a girl child from a point whereby the girl child, all you are structured is you need to get married,
So,
you need to have children, you need to be submissive, you need to be someone who listens to someone. In a way, it's a question of being told that you have to depend on someone, which is
Else.
our issue now with the girl child. We have got this dependency syndrome, which has encrypted the girl child to a point where she doesn't know who she is.
Yeah.
So I wrote in this book on how I traveled, how I saw us as women, where we come from and where we are going. So in this book, I wrote to say, you have to find yourself as a girl child. So on each chapter, there is a lesson and questions and answers that one has got to go through and answer them and find out who they are, what they stand for, and how to raise up the girl child.
Now, Kathleen, what I love about you, you know, when I first met you, first of all, you don't look your age. You told me you were 70 years old and you are literally reinventing yourself, learning new things all the time. You know, learning doesn't stop at a certain age.
Definitely.
Learning is a lifetime thing. And when I was preparing for tonight, I found a really interesting quote that said that if you want to be more powerful in life, educate yourself. It's that simple. It's that easy. And you're one of those women who's not going to stop until you get to your grave.
yes.
You absolutely inspire me. I know you're starting a coaching program to teach other women to write their own books, to teach grandmothers how to write stories for their grandchildren at 70. You know, that for me is such a source of inspiration. You are an example of what every single woman should be doing in her life and not allowing age to hold you back and say, oh, I've hit a certain age. Now my life has to stop. So, Ruth, I'm going to let you take over chairing. I've got a few people who are trying to get on the call. I'm going to hand over the reins to you. So I will disappear for a few minutes, ladies, and Ruth will continue sharing. Deborah, weigh in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you again today.
She needs to unmute herself.
Deborah, unmute. You're actually muted right now. It's not changing. Let's see if I can unmute you from here. So I can't seem to unmute you. It has to come from your side. We have Betty, who's just joined us. Ruth. Okay, so we'll let you speak, Deborah. You figured it out. Excellent. I'm going to disappear and just add a few more women to the call.
It's I said, hi ladies, thank you so much. Good morning and nice to see you. And Yeah, this is an ongoing thing, and it's very sad that until this time, 2021, our children are still fighting to survive. 2021, we still got children who are not protected. In Africa, Zimbabwe is it's got one of the largest educated community. We put security fences, we put electric fences to protect our cars and our houses and our sofa and our TV. But we are failing to protect the most important thing in our lives, our children. A neighbor's child is your child. That's how we grew up. Where is the community when a 14-year-old is dying of childbirth without health care? Without health care. Where is the protection of everyone, anyone? The soul of that girl will haunt us all because we let her down. We dropped the ball. I protected my car. My car wasn't stolen. It's fine. I can drive to work. But that child died because we dropped the ball. As a community, why do we let these cults go on? Why is it we say, ndozvavanoita, ndozvavanoita, vekwamarange, ndozvavanoita, and we let it slide? These children are born there, they don't have a choice. They don't know anything else. If I take my child who was born out of this cult and put her in that cult, she'll go, hell no. First day, she'll look them in the face and say no, because she's educated enough, she's traveled enough to have choices. These kids are born in this cult. They do the done thing. It's how things are done. You listen because the Spirit says. When the elders talk, you listen. Remember growing up, we're told, adults don't lie. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What the adults say is true. And it goes. But do you remember some adults were evil? Do you remember that? Do you remember some adults used to pinch you just in the quiet, just
Or
and
even clapping.
and they'll get away with it because they were adults. It's time us adults end that cycle. If it's your brother abusing, get him arrested. Let him go to jail. If it's your husband abusing, let him go to jail. If it's your sister abusing, because women do abuse too, let her go to jail. Do not allow any child to be abused on your watch. It shouldn't be happening anywhere anymore. This is 2021. We have advanced the security to protect material things. Advanced. Some of the motion. If you walk to my house, my alarm will go off. My lights will go off. And you'll be caught right there. But my children are being abused in the same house that I'm protecting. And I'm protecting the abuser because it's a church, because he's my brother, because he's my husband, because what then do I do? We are dropping the ball. Everybody, not just women, every adult is responsible for that child's death.
Sure. That's so true, Deborah. And it's because when a death happens, then we need to talk about it, we need to do something, and then we forget about memory, we forget about the many other young girls that have died in similar situations, and we just move on with our lives. So we've really dropped the ball as humankind, as people, where we've just waited. We only come to, we are working when there's a death. What about the other deaths that we are not hearing of? Because these people don't have to register the deaths. They are busy burying young girls in their sex in their different shrines. And we don't even know about it because we still allow child marriages.
And the younger children who are not dead, who are having babies, Because
Yes.
remember that video I was talking about, that old guy who was saying, oh, I married this one at 11. And the woman was saying, yes, I got married. Now I've got 3 children. You're a teenager with 3 children. And they're smiling. And he said, oh, because I need them to work in my fields. What? And the interview, we said, thank you very much for talking to us. What? Why are you thanking him? If he had said, I stole a car, would we say, thank you very much for talking to us?
Yeah.
As a
Yeah,
people, we are dropping the ball.
We are. Now, when it comes to the practical solutions, Ambiavashe, I'm trying not to say this was Ambiavashe. Ambiavashe. What are the practical solutions that we can implement?
Right. I was making a lot of noise. I was screaming. I said, there's the member of parliament, when she came out, they said they don't have a law. So we need to push for this law, guys. We need a law to protect the children. Remember where there was this DNA issues, the next day there was a law for refund, and so why can't they do it? We have a law to protect our children. We need to push for the law, because they said there's no law.
Mm-hmm. There is no law.
Yeah, so we need to push. We need it, like girls. We need to push for the law.
So putting pressure on the policymakers and the legislators.
Yes. They've done it like now. If the DNA is not on your favor, you are supposed to get a refund. So
if the child is not yours.
Yeah, that's what they do now. Do you know that? The refund law. Yeah. They said you can get a full refund. So I'm just wondering, if they can do that in a week, why can't they make a law to preserve, to protect our children? We need to push. We just need to push for the law now.
That's what we were talking about yesterday, that there is no wall that can be taken down if we just put enough force and enough pressure. So yes, we need to keep pushing. Hello, Mabel, welcome. Mabel, welcome. Thank you for joining us again today.
Sorry. Hi, Ruth. Hi, ladies. Thank you for this discussion again today. Like you said, Zimbabwe, it's something we can't keep watching. A lot of us just read a story from Facebook platform and say, oh, that's sad, and we put it down and we continue on with our normal lives. But what stood out for me about this story is she is just one of those that have been spoken louder than all the others. What about all the other cases where they didn't get pregnant, but they're still in the home, a 13-year-old still married to these people? They haven't died yet, but still continuing under the abuse, under this marriage that's not legal, that's not at the right age. So this is just an amplification of something that's been going on underneath. So how can we put our phones down and our laptops and just continue on with our normal lives when this is just an indication, this is just the slight topping of what's actually happening? Because obviously every time a story eventually arrives as a feed on Facebook, that means a lot more have been going on. A lot of number of girls that we don't even know about has been happening for years, which is only coming to attention for us this week or last week. And I'm scared because news sometimes they always say news lasts 2 days, 3 days, the most a week, trending, and then we forget about it because it's not the next trending news until something else more exciting comes, and that's really scary. That's allowed to happen. And I always think my boys are 15 and 13. So when I think about this girl, she's right in between 14 years of age, and the things she's had to bear in her mind, even as an adult, for us, half of the things she's dealt with. If it happened to us, if we were raped at my age of 41, I don't know, that would cause some serious psychological issues. I would need counseling. I would need a long-term recovery program. So imagine a 13-year-old mind, what they have to go through, don't die, and if they need the
Did we lose her?
sorry, they're meant to be just enjoying life, learning, enjoying and playing. And they're dealing with such issues that are so complicated that even an adult cannot even deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think her
Sorry, I think my
connectivity.
Wi-Fi keeps dropping. What we can do now is, a couple of months ago, something similar.
Okay.
Mabel's connection
All right.
is compromised. She keeps dropping in
Sorry,
and
I keep
out.
dropping, don't I?
Yes, you're going in and out.
It came up and they said there's a law to having.
No, we lost a whole part of it.
Yeah, Mabel's connection is compromised.
Sorry,
It's
I'm just
dropping in and
gonna
out.
fix my Wi-Fi because I don't know, it keeps dropping off.
Yeah, maybe jump off and then jump back in.
Yeah, it clears
let
the
me try
line
to do that
sometimes
again.
if you go out and come back. So one of the things that I'm hearing today is the issue of us not letting an incident like this come and go, and we forget, because that is really true what Mabel has just raised. That a lot of times we hear about these things, we get excited for a couple of days, and then it dwindles off, and then it's what's the next news? What else can we focus on? So how do we build the momentum? How do we keep this conversation going? How do we keep the hashtags trending, using social media, using WhatsApp? We need some really practical strategies so that this doesn't stop. Any ideas? This is now tapping into the power of social media. In Africa right now, everybody's got access to WhatsApp. We could create some flyers, some banners that can be distributed using WhatsApp. What strategies can we implement? We've just been joined by Simbarashe. Welcome, Simba. If you want to just tell us who you are, where you're based, and if you've picked up on the thread of this conversation, please share with us your thoughts. And anybody else who wants to chime in, just indicate, and then Ruth will coordinate and get you to speak. Yeah, go ahead, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah.
I think the most important at the moment is to empower the parents so that they realize that even there's no spirit who tell you to get your child abused. There's no God who condemns children to be abused. So if a church is saying that, it's lying. They are lying to you, and you can walk away and still be a believer. You can walk away and still be a Christian. In fact, you'll be much better off in the eyes of God if you protect a child. Because in the Bible, they say, the guy let the young children come to me, I'll protect them. So it's up to us to empower these parents so that they know that, because in the church, it's like you're condemned if you don't follow the church rules. Let the people know, no, you're not condemned. These are the leaders' rules, not the Bible rules, not God's rules. You can walk away from this. Like Catherine's father, I like that. Catherine's father walked away and took his children out because they were planning to get him married long back. That was decades back. And he walked away. We can empower these women, these parents, both father and mother, to say, look, God doesn't say that. So I think we need to start with the parents, because once they're empowered, once they know So many people will leave the churches, and then the churches will have to change the rules. The government will have to be forced to enforce a child protection rule. How can we not have a child protection rule if we can protect the property so much? Someone steals $10, they go to jail. So abusing a child is fine, but your $10 is worth more than a child's life, because this is a child's life ruined. Even the children who are living, not dead. If you were abused, you know what I'm talking about. You are ruined for life. The trauma follows you for life. So is the parents, is the church leaders, everybody needs to know this. It's illegal. If you do it, you're going to jail. And if you help the abuser, you too are aiding and abetting. So if you're a parent and you say yes, you're also in the wrong.
So practical steps, there is a lot of fear. The church has got a very powerful place in our communities. We can speak when we are afar, and we're living in countries where we have rights. We're privileged to be where we are. What are some really practical steps on the ground that can be implemented that can bring about some of this change? Ruth, any ideas? Oh,
Hi, Raywin. Welcome, Raywin. Raywin is here, Gertrude. I think she's.
but I don't see her in the video.
Neither do I. She must be in the backstage, probably.
I sent her the link on Facebook, so I'm surprised she's not coming on. Perhaps, how many did we have yesterday? There's only 6 people here. 7.
There's 7 of us on screen.
Okay, so let me drop out of the call and let's see if we can include Raywin. So Raywin Wella is a very good friend of mine. She came to Zimbabwe to support the Mazirisa primary school project in Shurugwi. And I invited her to come and share what was her experience. Someone from New Zealand who saw the struggle that we have with children. And she raised money. She came with us to Zimbabwe. So Ruth, you're going to take over control. I'll drop out so that Raywin can join us. Now, Simbarashe, are you there? Are you going to be participating, speaking?
I was actually going to say, for us to speak to the men in the churches, because I know these sects, they don't regard women as equals. So what we really need is a male voice. We need male voices. We need to find influential men who can go and speak to these men. And I was going to ask Simbarashe to come on, but I think we need a male voice.
I'm hearing an echo, Ruth. Have you got 2 devices?
Who can go and speak to these men.
So somebody has got their Facebook going, or maybe mute yourselves if you're not speaking. We're picking up on what's happening on Facebook. Can you all hear that, or is it just me?
Or maybe mute yourself if
You
you're
can hear
not.
it? Okay, so
I can
let's
hear
just, if you are on Facebook, just switch off, come out of Facebook. Let's see if that will eliminate that sound. It's gone now, right?
It might have been me.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Raywin, welcome to the call.
Hi.
Thank you so
Sorry, I
much.
didn't realize I still had you on Facebook as well, so it was coming through. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. So Ray, the reason why I wanted you to come on is you are one of my lifetime friends here in New Zealand. I invited you to come to Mazirisa Primary. I don't know what year that was. You have come several times.
2010.
Yes, please just tell people what your impression was of Zimbabwe, of our community, the reason why you said yes, you want to help children in education.
Wow. It was an interesting journey, that's for real. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Ray. Good to see you.
my life mission is educating people, and my biggest mission is to help people to help themselves. And that's where, when we went to Zimbabwe, we worked in the school with the people and got them to work with us. We weren't just doing the work for them. And it's the same with all of the healing I do. I've published a book, and it's all about healing, but it's a self-help book so that people can heal themselves. So education is just so important, but not so much. Here's me talking about education. I went to school to eat my lunch. I have got no qualifications from school, but I haven't stopped learning since I left. And I'll never stop learning. I just continue to just absorb and pass on to help other people to grow as well. So
what was your impression of Zimbabwe? What do you think of the vision that we are trying to create through the Her Story movement?
You say that, Gertrude. I was looking at some videos the other day and thinking, oh, whoa. I remember going to a school, another school, with our children from the school we were working with. And as soon as we got there, they're saying, please come and help us. Please come and help us. And they showed us through the rooms of that school. And I've still got videos of it. And I just couldn't believe it. It was interesting because I see the children playing sport on a field with ashes for the lines for netball and things. So simple. And those kids were happy. Those kids were happy. Maybe because they didn't know any different. But the poverty, to me, it was real poverty that needed helping. But I still believe that we can't just throw money at things. We have to educate the people. And then I've got another thought that you can't expect others to be and do like you. I don't know whether you realize what I'm coming from, but many of us have expectations because of where we live, how we were brought up, etc. And we can't walk into someone else's community and say, this is what you should be doing, because they have got no idea of where we've come from and what we've had. And I mean, I've never been a wealthy child or a wealthy person. Well, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. I'm wealthy because I've got my health. And that is the main education you need. If you have got a positive mindset, you've got your health, we create our lives. Doesn't matter where we've come from, what our background is. We are adults now. I was at 10 years old, I was molested. At 15 years old, I was gang raped. So you don't have to be in any specific country or it can happen anywhere at any time. And if I kept saying, poor me, and kept looking at those situations and thinking, oh my God, that impacted my life so much. If I kept dwelling on that, I'd be a poor me victim.
Ray, I want you to share the story of the second school we went to. And Ruth, you will remember this particular incident where the people in the community came to you and asked you for help. What did you do? What was the perception? Because I think this is really important for the ladies in the room to realize that we are the solution to Africa's problems. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Ray?
Yeah, those classrooms. I I mean,
Was it you or was
yes,
it
they came
Lena?
to us and said, and my answer was, I'd love to come back and help you, but we're already helping a school at the moment, and we can't help everybody.
No,
And
no, no.
that was
That's
my
not what
answer.
I'm trying to. Well, that's not what I'm trying to bring to this conversation. So let
Yeah.
me just reframe it. So Ruth and I were leading this team. We brought a group of foreigners to Mazirisa Primary School. We were working at Mazirisa Primary, and we went for a sporting event in the next village. The minute they saw Raywin, they saw Lena, they saw, who else did we have on that trip? They saw the Europeans. And they thought that they were the people who were bringing the money, who were bringing the help. So Ruth and I were walking at the back, and they're approaching our visitors and saying, please help us, please help us. And I think it was Lena who said to them, we are visitors here. We're not the ones who are leading this. The people you should be talking to are those two ladies behind you. What I'm trying to allude to is this. People in Africa are expecting help from foreigners. They expect help from outsiders. They don't see us as the help. We were completely overlooked by that community. The principal, all the teachers, they went straight to our foreigners. These are the people with money. These are the people who are going to help us. We need to change that perception. We need to be the help that Africa is waiting for. You know, this is the whole call to action with what we're trying to create with this platform. Africa is waiting for us. We are the privileged ones who left, who are in the diaspora somewhere, somehow, with the means to galvanize our friends. The same way we took Ray, we took Lena, we took a whole lot of foreigners to Zimbabwe. Why aren't we tapping into the resources of our community here in New Zealand, in the UK, in Australia, and asking our European sisters to come and help? And to change that perception that we are always waiting for help. You know, healthcare in Africa is administered by NGOs. Our own government is not responsible for the health of its people. It's the NGOs that are helping out in our communities. And that is so wrong on so many levels. So when we talk about breaking down that wall, there are walls and walls and walls that we need to break. It's not just one. There's going to be layers and layers that we need to chip down. So the appeal here is, if anybody who's listening to this video is in healthcare, there's so many nurses from Zimbabwe living in New Zealand, Australia, the UK, the USA. What can we do to go home and initiate building small clinics? We are building a clinic in Mazirisa Primary using a container. Simple ways to bring about healthcare to our communities. We need to be appealing to educators, people who are teachers, university professors. We are all out there in the diaspora. Do you know that there's 3.5 million Zimbabweans out of Zimbabwe right now? 3.5 million of us are scattered somewhere in the world. We are the help. We are the help that has to go back and bring about the change.
It's an interesting one, Gertrude, because, I mean, as you know, I've been to India as well and worked there, and I keep having the people contacting me wanting money. I'm a retiree. I'm a pensioner. Okay, I've written a book and I get a little bit of income from that, but I'm not. And I haven't got a tap that money pours out of. So when I go to these places, I go there to try and get people to do things themselves and try and teach the locals how to do things. So remember when we were in Gertrude, at the school, I was in charge of the library and I formed a committee of the locals.
Yeah.
I'd love to go and see that library now. Is it still there?
You see, that's the thing. The sustainability part of the work is what's missing. Unless we build a model that's sustainable so that even if there is COVID or a crisis where we can't physically go back, the work has to continue. It's building a robust, sustainable model where we've trained enough people on the ground to run these things without us being there. We need to just be facilitators for change.
Yep, I agree.
You know, Deborah was talking yesterday about the entrepreneurs in our communities. There's an organization in Italy run by a man by the name of Ernesto Sorelli, and
I
he
know
trains what are
Ernesto.
called enterprise facilitators. And they go into communities, they will sit at a bus stop and observe the entrepreneurs. He told me a story that completely changed my life. He said there was a woman who would come when a bus stopped and sell cigarettes. The whole day, she would buy a box of cigarettes, goes and sells when the bus stopped. At the end of the day, they sat down with her and they recommended that she buys a box of matches and puts up her price. Same amount of effort, small amount of added value, doubled her takings for the day. So sometimes people come to Zimbabwe, they recommend you do a chicken project, they recommend you do this, you do that. People will do those projects because they need money. But do they really have a passion around rearing chickens? Maybe, maybe not. So it's when we start tapping into people's passions and things that they're really good at doing. That's
Ask
where
them what
change
they want.
comes. It has to be what they want, exactly. You can recommend something, but do I have the natural inclination to do it? Ruth, can you take over chairing and let's hear the other voices in the room? You're muted, Ruth, and Mabel is wanting to say something. You're having a problem? Okay, Mabel, jump in while Ruth is sorting out her computer.
Yeah. I loved your story, Ruth, that Gertrude, that you mentioned about how we can go in, and I like Ruth's idea about involving men, because obviously that's one of the walls that obviously if we the women are going to Zimbabwe and trying to speak when the religion doesn't allow us that platform to speak, then that's a wall we need to break. So I'm thinking a practical thing that maybe we could do as women here is maybe start bringing in the men into this conversation. So I don't know if that's plausible. I mean,
that is a necessity, because nothing
yeah,
will change until we start
that's
bringing
one
men
thing.
into the rooms
Yeah,
where we
so I'm
discuss these
thinking
issues.
I've met several men. I mean, my husband is very passionate about kids. So even the moment, and funny thing is, all this time I've been doing it, because I haven't even mentioned it to him that I'm doing this. It's funny, but I
Same.
think the moment I talk to him, he's passionate about kids. He's passionate about educating children. He's passionate about educating kids from their strengths perspective. So even this story alone, it will just amplify his desire to help the children. So I'm thinking we just need to think of other men that have that heart, you know, and just bring them to this platform and have a conversation and see if they can go in to the church and speak. And then with the education we're talking about, go speak to these men, these leaders in these churches, and start educating them and saying, you know, this is abuse. If you're allowing a girl of 9, 10 years of age to be married, mentally she's not physically ready. She's not mentally ready for that. So if we can actually put the men ahead, we obviously are in there facilitating with them. But I think that voice, like Ruth said, if they respect men, another man, conversation man to man, then I think that's a start. So I think we need to be bringing in some men into this conversation.
And that's what we were saying yesterday, that sometimes we have to lead from behind. Sometimes it's just us taking a step back and not being the face of it. If it brings about the change that we want, we have to be working with men to front this. Nothing is going to change. You know, the other example is for us to keep showing up as the possibility of what change looks like. The last time I went to Zimbabwe, Ruth, you might remember this. We were working at the school, and there were 3 little girls who kept following us around all over the school the whole day. And I stopped because I wanted to overhear what they were saying. And one of them said, then the next one said, you know, I realized at that point that all I had to do is to keep showing up driving that car. So that little girl could see herself through me. that she could drive a car too. We have to be the possibility that shows up in our communities. Who else wants to contribute?
Me, I want to contribute.
Yes, Kathleen.
I'm so happy that I can't remember the name, but because I can't
Raywin.
Raywin. Yeah, I loved the wording that you put. That of course we can help, but someone has got to have the passion to self-help, self or himself. Because now I'm reflecting back to the Zimbabwean community that we are so educated. We normally use this word that we Zimbabwean children or us, we are very educated. But looking into the Zimbabwean community, which is very educated, we are not showing the results of that education. What we have produced is the children who have got who are graduates, and they've got certificates on their walls to say, I'm a graduate, and a photo. But that degree is not producing anything. That those people, we actually grew up in a country where we had beautiful hospitals where one would walk in and get treated, and the hospitals were clean. But right now, the hospitals, I saw a video where they were showing all the tiles on the floor. They were actually taken and they were heaped aside. No one was repairing those tiles on the floor. This is a country with people who are educated, and they cannot see that this floor needs to be repaired and kept clean. This needs to be painted and kept clean. And so we are destroying the infrastructure which was left when we were young. These children are now growing up in communities which have got litter everywhere. They are growing in these communities where dirt is everywhere. They have no idea of how they should keep their environment clean. So we need educators on the ground who will really look at the child and train and reprogram our educators in Zimbabwe to start again and look at themselves, the country that they are living in, if it meets the standards of people who call themselves educated. Because I remember when where they were in Rwanda, they are calling it the Sunshine City, because you find no litter in their streets. Even the president himself goes in the street and advocate that this day is for him to go into the street and people and clean the streets, and also make sure that the area that children play, like what she said, the football grounds, they had ashes, but this is a country where they can make those grounds tidy, green, and people play there like what we used to know. So it's time to reprogram the Zimbabwean culture, the Zimbabwean people themselves, to understand that they are the ones who have got to create that atmosphere, that environment of the country, to make it as they would wish to come to England or to any other country. I think it's beautiful. Zimbabwe was once a beautiful country. We still wanted it to be beautiful, but people were working. They were the ones creating that environment. So why is it that we've gone back to a country where people live with litter everywhere? Even in towns, people are behaving like they don't know they are supposed to keep a town smart and clean. So until we have educators on the ground in Zimbabwe to start looking at themselves as adults and behave as adults in Zimbabwe, that's where we can start from. And then we need to start from that point. Maybe we will pass through a lot of it.
Lots of work to be done. Parting thoughts, ladies. We have 5 minutes. Deborah? Ruth, what's happened?
Am I on backstage?
You went backstage, yes. I could see you waving there.
I changed devices.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Can I
Good.
ask where all of these ladies are from? Where are
So,
you all living now?
introduce yourselves, ladies. Where are you from? Where are you now? Where are you from in Zim? Because Raywin knows Zimbabwe a bit.
I was born and bred just outside Harare, but I live in the UK now.
Sorry, living
I was
where?
born in
In
Zimbabwe.
the UK.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was born in Zimbabwe. I'm Kathleen. And I moved to the UK. I live in the United Kingdom now.
And Rivaj?
Hi, Ray. I am Mabel. I was born in Harare, born and raised in Harare. Then I left just after high school. Went to the UK to study mental health nursing. And then we moved to Melbourne, Australia, where we are currently based. But I'm in Ghana at the moment, so a bit of everywhere at the moment.
Lovely. Lovely meeting you all.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Carol. I go by the name Ambria Bash on Facebook. I was born in Mondoro, Zimbabwe. I was born in the middle of these people who abuse people. I'm currently based in Liverpool, England at the moment.
Very good. Lovely to meet you all. And I know Ruth. I've been on another call today. I've been doing some training with some people, and there's a lady in the US who has got a company, and she's her name is Namalokai. Does anyone know Namalokai? Kina?
From Zimbabwe?
I'm not exactly sure where she's from, but she is promoting and has got a business which is educating girls about clitoris mutilation. She was at 11 years old, cut, and she has had that redone, and she's promoting that girls, trying to get it out there to stop it. And she's formed an organisation. I gave her your number, your contact, Gertrude. I told her to look you up and check you out.
Okay.
So we'll see what. Yeah, but she's a lovely lady, and she's working, and she's actually learning to really get out there and promote it, and just try and turn it around, because she said it's even happening still in the state now.
It happens everywhere. It's happening in New Zealand. It happens in Australia. It's happening everywhere. The girls are being cut in every single country across the globe. I actually work with teachers in New Zealand to conscientize them when young African girls disappear from school. If they disappear for a week, something has happened. So we've got a whole program conscientizing teachers in schools in the Western countries. It's happening right here. It's a very sad thing. Do connect us with her. A Facebook introduction will be good. So Ruth, do you want to wind down so we can end the show for today?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for coming to the show today. As Kathleen was speaking, I was thinking about maybe we need to really bring this whole issue closer home in terms of training our children instead of just starting with the bigger picture. Can we go micro? And I'll look at my family. I'll look at my children when they're still young. I'll teach them about cleanliness. I'll teach them about being kind and integrity and all the right values that we need to have a great community at the end of the day. Yes, the educators can come in, but it is the parents who have to start. The initial and the primary education comes from the parents. So as a mother, as a father, what am I doing in my own family? What am I teaching my children? Because when my son walks out of my house at 25, at 27, what is it that I've taught him about how to be Munu, amongst others, Ubuntu, Abantu, So it's all about, we must come back to the Ubuntu philosophy. That used to work. We have to come back to that. So that's my parting thought for the day. Anyone else with a parting shot before we close?
We have a comment online from a young man in Uganda who I'm currently helping to build a school. Mugisha is based in Uganda. He has been fundraising using Facebook, and he said that if you're planning for a year, sow rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant a tree. If you're planning for a lifetime, educate people.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for chiming in. Would love to have you on the show, Mugisha, tomorrow. I will send you the link on Facebook. It'll be good to have a man who has a passion around education, who's on the ground doing the work. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Has Ruth disappeared again? She has. So ladies, thank you so much for being online today. Please share this video. Please invite other people to join us. We'll be having this show every single day. It was 6:30 for me in Melbourne, 8:30 p.m. for you, Ray, in New Zealand, 10 o'clock in the UK. Is that right, Deborah?
9:30.
9:30 in the UK, and I think 10 o'clock in Zimbabwe, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's 10:30
So
in the
please,
UK.
when we started,
When we started.
It was 9:30. Yeah, so the time that we start the broadcast every day is an hour earlier from whatever time it is now. So I will share with you the link. We'll be posting the link in our Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group called the Her Story Circle. I'll add you to the group. Please share these links. Let's get more voices. Let's keep the conversation going. And like Mabel said, let's not let this incident go for no reason. Let's not let this young child die for no reason. We have to keep this conversation going. We need her name to keep trending. So thank you again for tonight, everybody. Have a fantastic evening wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.
Bye.
Ladies,
Thank
don't
you.
disappear. I'm going to stop the broadcast, but stay where you are.